Tutorials are extremely common in the programming space. If you make one simple search of a coding tutorial on YouTube, you'll see thousands of coding tutorials for like React, backend, simple HTML, even making like high-end applications. They're everywhere and everyone's doing them. However, there is a group of people, I don't know who it is, that stigmatize tutorials and make it seem like it's a bad thing or the end of the world if you follow a tutorial. And I'll be honest, for the longest time, I thought the exact same way. I thought that by following a tutorial, I was a bad programmer because I couldn't do a project on my own. And at the time, I wanted to start my own business in tech, and I thought that by following that tutorial, I didn't have it in me to start my own business. I thought that I had to be like Mark Zuckerberg and write Facebook in like 2 weeks, whatever he wrote it in, or a month, I have no idea. I didn't know how to code, so I needed that tutorial to help me out. And eventually I just accepted the fact and I just started doing tutorials, and I noticed it wasn't that bad. So here's my viewpoint on it, right? Tutorials have a bad rap because it's not your code. In addition to the fact that if you follow it without knowing what's going on, you're likely to fall into tutorial hell. And the quick notes on what tutorial hell is being good enough to write code, but not being good enough to write your own code. Like, you're able to understand code, but you need a tutorial, so you follow a tutorial, but that doesn't make you better, so you have to constantly follow that tutorial. Now, I'll say this. I totally agree with tutorial hell being bad. It was something I went through. It sucked. And I get the fact that you're copying someone's code. Both things are not good. But I still argue that tutorials are a great source of learning. It doesn't mean you suck at programming. If you go on Twitter and you just search up, regular programmers, top programmers, they all say that they needed help with projects that they were doing. Everyone looks at code online. That's why GitHub is there. It's public code for people to help you out with your own problems. And yes, if you copy everything that the code is giving you, you're not going to learn anything and you're not going to get anything out of it. But in my opinion, that's not the point of a tutorial. The real benefit of a tutorial is to provide you with a platform to build on top of while also learning concepts. So I learned React by just simply following tutorials and writing good, clean code. And by following tutorials the right way, you can build more stuff, you can learn faster because you're learning from the best, you're learning good practices, you can work on projects that you actually want instead of like just basic shit. And to do tutorials the right way, I've made this like list of things that you need to follow in order to get that done. The main idea is to follow tutorials but don't copy. That's like the whole main framework. If you're gonna take anything out of this video, take this. Most people copy tutorials. They look at a guy coding, they copy everything not knowing what's going on, leave it at that, and wonder why they're not good programmers. We don't want to be like that. I used to be like that. What you want to do is, yes, look at the tutorial, get help online. You need that. That's part of the learning process. But instead of copying, build on top of the code. The guy gave you a platform to build on. So let's say you're following a guy making a to-do app. Don't just copy the code. Build on it. Maybe add another feature. Make sure you're writing notes on the code so you know what's going on. Maybe change the color up a little bit. Maybe add a small little button throughout the page to make it like, I don't know, just add something. And that is where I believe that tutorials provide you with the most help. As long as you're adding and as long as you understand what is going on, you'll get the full benefits of a tutorial without getting the negative side effects of it. They give you a much needed boost and help and sort of mentorship that you need at the start of your coding journey and honestly throughout your coding journey. So don't think that because you have to follow a tutorial that you suck. I still follow tutorials for ideas to build on. I'm doing that right now with my application. It's totally fine, but just make sure you're building on top of the code or at least understanding what is going on, because at the end of the day, that's what you want. You don't want to be a guy that just copies code. You want to be a guy that builds stuff. My name is Nazar, and I'll see you in the next video.